Welcome, everyone. This is Michael Dotterer, and we're on the dot. And it's January 17th, and I want to wish everyone happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day today. We have a great show for you. And before we bring on our guests, in honor of Dr. King, I want to share one of my favorite quotations from Dr. King, and it goes like this. I posted it on my Facebook and Twitter, and I don't know if I put it on LinkedIn, but it goes like this: darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So just thank you, Dr. King, for inspiring all of us to be better human beings. And I highly encourage all Americans and actually people from all over the world to read a letter from a Birmingham jail, probably one of the most significant writings that I had read in college, and it inspires me every day what Dr. King represented in how he lived his life. So again, happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day today, and also happy birthday yesterday to my good friend Brad Leggett, who his father was our coach with the Raiders back when we won the Super Bowl, and Brad went on. Brad played at USC and played for the Saints, and is helping a lot of former NFL alumni. So happy belated birthday yesterday, Brad, and also happy birthday to one of the great Stanford pitchers and Major League pitchers, Cy Young Award winner. His birthday was yesterday, Jack McDowell, and I think Jack's down in North Carolina. Happy birthday yesterday, Jack. And today, happy birthday to my good friend Nita Parham, who I work together with a company called Club Nirvana. And happy birthday, Nita. And happy birthday to my friend Don Knowles, who's in California, down in Southern California. Happy birthday, Don. And happy birthday to my friend Melissa Batchwilder. And it's her birthday. She's from Boston, and wishing her a happy birthday. And happy birthday to my fellow team member, Euphoria Science team member, Kels Kennedy. Want to wish her happy birthday. And happy birthday today. It would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. She turns 100 today. The amazing Betty White. Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday today to my good friend Garen Brown, who I went to Mater Day with in Southern California. Happy birthday, Garen. Happy birthday to my teammate Kevin Baird, it's his birthday today. Kevin's over in London. Happy birthday to another Stanford friend, Jed Solomon. Happy birthday, Jed. And happy birthday to a man who went from the Walmart to the NFL, Jawan Harley. Happy birthday, Jawan. And happy birthday, Muhammad Ali. It was his birthday today as well. So with that, I'm going to bring on my special guest. This man, wow, what an amazing background. He grew up, I believe, in Michigan. And I want to have him talk about his father playing football at Hillsdale College. By the way, Hillsdale, I didn't know this. I looked it up. It was founded in 1844, which is much earlier than my alma mater, Stanford. And I didn't realize that Hillsdale, in the early days of their football, they played Notre Dame. And I looked it up. It's only an hour and 30-minute drive. But back then, it was probably a horse and buggy, so it was a lot longer. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my special guest. And you can see the background here. I got so excited about what Mark is doing. And I want to give a shout out to my good friend, Don Murphy, because we wouldn't be on the dot without Dawn. Dawn called me about a year or so ago and was so excited because she got a sneak preview of what Mark was putting together. And Dawn, thank you for calling me, because it is exciting. It's one of the most exciting things that I've heard of, ventures to help young student athletes. And Mark, the other thing I want to say is we have a very similar name. Our last names both end in E-R-E-R. And I think the way you pronounce your name, Mark, you pronounce it Mark Koesterer. And my last name is Dotterer. So maybe we come from the same part of Germany. What are your thoughts, Mark?
Hey, Mike, good to see you. Thank you very much. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to explain in my life to people, right?
Yeah, well, I think I watched some of your interviews online, and the way you pronounce it is just Mark Custer, right? Custer,
Koesterer, yes, sir.
Kester. So you do pronounce the two ers at the end,
We do.
Kester.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, because my last name is Dotterer, and a lot of people drop the just daughter, but I think who knows, going way back, we probably are related some way, right?
There you go.
So, Mark, I guess the first question we want to ask you on the dot is tell us a little bit about your background, the influence your father had on you, and your college experience, and then how you got into this amazing world of branding and sports marketing.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invite and hello to your audience and happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Day. I've been very fortunate, Michael. My father was a college athlete, a quarterback, and a catcher, and became an educator. He was a junior high gym teacher, a high school football and wrestling coach, and always involved in athletics. He was a ocean lifeguard until age 52 on Long Island, which is where I grew up. And I learned very early that athletics could provide all kinds of opportunities in terms of networking, meeting people, and as I got a little bit deeper into high school, educational opportunities. My real passion was basketball, but unfortunately, I was not as talented in that sport as I wanted to be or as I thought I would be. And so my options were mid-level, small college football, and I went to Hillsdale College. And your information is correct. It's an old school. It's a classic Midwest play in the mud, play in the rain kind of old school smash mouth football program. Had an amazing experience, met some great friends, traveled, learned a lot about life, learned a lot about business, learned a lot about people, and graduated from there and started my career in business, eventually landing in Syracuse, New York. And it was in Syracuse that I got a chance to really use everything that I'd learned about sports and apply everything that I believed about sports to raise my children. I'm very fortunate that their mom and I were very lucky to have 5 kids, 4 of whom played sports in college. In Syracuse, you do 2 things. You ski in the winter and you play lacrosse in the summer. And in between is only a couple of days. So we use those sports to give our kids opportunities that they might not normally have. And I think that's one of the great messages is, and I guess you would probably subscribe to this too, you may not have gotten to Stanford if it weren't for your athletic ability. And good for you for taking advantage of that and for maximizing that. And so I became active in the community sports, youth sports, travel team, high school sports. As my kids went to college, I became more of a fan, but really learned a lot about and met lots of wonderful families, people that use sports to get to great schools and great schools that use kids to promote their brand on the field. And I learned a lot about the business of college athletics. And then I transitioned from that to watching these successful high school and college athletes transition into life. Some of them did it seamlessly. Some of them, quite honestly, didn't have any self-image other than sports. And so they were lost. So they would graduate from college with a degree, apparently successful on the field, but off the field, they were lost. And I started to really figure out how to help those kinds of kids. And I did that with my business. I started a company in Los Angeles called Sports Studio. We were an entertainment production services company, which means we helped production companies create sports content in Hollywood. So television shows, movies, commercials. And we hired lots of young, smart people from all over the country to help build our brand. And I helped many of them learn about the world of business and specifically about production and entertainment. And of the 26 kids that we hired, 6 of them own their own businesses today. So I've had a lot of coaching tree success, I would say, in the world of business and young people and entrepreneurs.
Well, it's amazing that background that you have, Mark, going from your youth, your father inspiring you to playing football at Hillsdale, and then bringing up your children in a sports environment, and then starting your venture, your company. But what was exciting, is you sent a letter just 4 days ago, and this is again when Don called me a year ago, and we connected, and then I think it was it was a little less than a year ago. But then when I got your email 4 days ago, and I'd like to read, could I read the email that you sent me?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I think this says it all, and this is a good way to start, where you could talk about what your vision is for the players NIL. And NIL, for those that don't know what that stands for, is name, image, and likeness. And here's the letter that Mark sent out 4 days ago. The Players NIL, this groundbreaking educational platform, combines years of professional experience with a lifetime of passion and dedication to improve the lives of young people. And when I heard that, it gives me goosebumps to hear that, because you just don't hear that much. A lot of times people get caught up in the money, but when you said to improve the lives of young people, since July 1st, 2021, college athletes have been allowed to profit from their name. Actually, July 2021, their name, image, and likeness. So this has just happened within the year. This change in legislation has created never before seen opportunities for athletes who are currently competing in high school and college, and to benefit from their personal brand. And that's something that, when you and I played, we didn't think that way, but really everyone has a brand. So anyone, when you're thinking about how you go through the school system, and I would even argue, if you play chess, if you're a great chess player, you have a brand. So it doesn't have to just be athletics. And what I love about what you've done here, you've put together a curriculum, and you've built a system. And so I could go on and on. All I know is what you're doing. When I saw this, when Dawn mentioned it last year, and then your letter, I just am so grateful for what you're putting together. So take it away from there. I could go on and talk about you, but go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you for calling out the letter. I feel that it really represents what I'm trying to do and what the Players NIL stands for. And so, again, with this background and with this mindset of caring about the individual, not just trying to take advantage and make money off of them and then discard them, I learned about all of these big marketing brands that have rushed to sign up high-level athletes, big sports programs in colleges and universities. And what I've found is that there's a top 2% of kids that are benefiting from these relationships. But in this academic year, there's 480,000 young men and women playing sports in college. I don't know the numbers that are still being developed, but there's going to be less than 10,000 that really make a lot of money from this and get the support that they need. And so I developed a mindset that I need to manage the educational component, not be a deal maker, not trying to bring brands to kids or kids to brands, not trying to get paid to do that, but to deliver an educational component that could teach them about the fundamentals of NIL and personal brand building. And I've developed the 5 core pillars, if you will, of the Players NIL. And the first one is social media, digital marketing. We live in a world where you can reach an audience very quickly and very strategically if you know how to do it, using the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even LinkedIn to some degree. The second would be tax, legal, finance. So these kids are being force-fed contracts and negotiated relationships, but really not in the best interest of the student athlete. I heard about a paragraph-long contract the other day that a kid signed that basically signed over their lifetime name, image, and likeness rights to this brand. Regardless of whether they were done with college or not, they were going to be contractually obligated to this brand. And so there has to be guidance around that. Community and local philanthropy services. So I believe that part of brand building is giving back. And we've had some great examples of kids that have done things for the community. But there's so many young kids that look up to these athletes, and so many communities that look up to the athletic programs for leadership. And so I think giving back is a great way to do that. Storytelling. So part of building the brand audience is being able to tell a story. Who are you? Be authentic. What's your message? What do you stand for? How can you create and curate an audience that follows you? And then the last one would be brand negotiating. So, when you get in front of a brand, when you get in front of a relationship that wants to pay you money, how can you maximize that? And how can you convince them that their return on investment is going to be worth it? And so I started the Players NIL as an educational platform whereby every student athlete can download it directly. It'll be a digital podcast video format, and they can educate themselves on the 5 pillars of being successful in name, image, and likeness.
Wow, I just hope that that this goes out viral, because as you can see, that you can go to that link below, which is theplayersnil.com. And I know, Mark, I have 3 cousins here in Syracuse that one is a hockey player up at Phillips Exeter, and another, his name is Cody Dotterer. My other cousin is Skylar Dotterer, who's a football player here in Syracuse. And then my other cousin is Joey Dotterer, who's in high school as well. And those 3 I know can benefit from your platform. And you really thought this out. When you look at where you are now in this the platform that you put together, what do you project as far as the future and the changes that are going on with the NC2A and collegiate athletics? What are your thoughts about the future?
Well, we don't have enough time to talk about all of that, but I think name, image, and likeness is here to stay. It's revolutionary. It's changed college athletics forever. You can argue that some of it probably was going on already in terms of the cash being exchanged between supporters of a program, alumni, and student athletes. But this is more comprehensive, and I think it gives every kid an opportunity to do something that maybe they only thought the top 2% could do. And so we're in the process of launching our platform, which we did last week. And we're educating people about the 5 core pillars. We're going to be doing a lot of public relations work like we're doing today on your podcast here to bring people's attention to what I think are the most important aspects of name, image, and likeness. We're going to build an ecosystem and a digital network where we can connect all of these kids and they can tap into resources beyond just the initial course. And we're going to offer additional modules. We're going to offer podcast coaching, website development, logo design, apparel brand development, additional deep dive into the 5 core pillars, resume building, job seeking. And I think long-term, this ecosystem and this platform will provide a network of college athletes of a similar mind, similar background, similar experience. And hopefully it will provide them the opportunity to maximize their brand post-athletic career. And we'll get involved with, the career counseling, mental health, physical counseling, what happens if these kids get hurt and how do they manage that? And hopefully bring them into our ecosystem for the foreseeable future post-athletics.
Oh, that's exciting. And, as I was thinking about you're talking and articulating your vision for the Players NIL, something that's so important is how we communicate and public speaking. And what, I don't know if you ever went through Toastmasters, but I have no doubt that communications and the ability to speak will be part of the curriculum.
Yeah, I think public speaking is important. I think just being authentic in a personal discussion like we're having right now, even though it's public, it takes confidence. It takes practice. And Toastmasters is a wonderful program. My daughter was actually the president of Toastmasters at University of Oregon about 10 years ago.
That's fantastic. Go Ducks.
Go Ducks.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Well, you bring up the University of Oregon, and I think I mentioned this to you in our conversation yesterday or today before we got on, is the NC2A, I guess, is questioning some of the things that the University of Oregon are doing. And I personally, as a fellow Pac-12 member, I think that the Pac-12 might be, some of those schools, including my alma mater, could be left behind and not allow the free market system, allow student athletes to be creative and entrepreneurial. So what I'd like to do is, and this is one thing we do on the dot. You could talk about that, and then you get the last word. So if you could just talk about whatever you want to talk about, and then you can close it up, because I love listening to your vision. And again, I want to thank you so much, Mark, for coming on the dot in this great opportunity. And hopefully my cousins who are listening, the three of them, they can register. Would they just go to the website below and put their name in? Is that?
There's a place on every page to enter your information and get on our mailing list and be part of our educational process. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, the floor is yours, and you get the last word on the dot. Thank you so much, Mark.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me. And Michael, it's a pleasure. And I love your enthusiasm and your passion and your commitment to a life of athletics and what it can do for people, and using education, or using athletics to get an education and improve your life. And I'm an East Coast guy, so I'm not as versed in the Pac-12 as you are. I think I'm old enough that it was the Pac-10 at one point. But, there's no question, as I said, name, image, and likeness is here to stay. It's probably going to create a greater gap between the haves and the have-nots. And whether it's the Big Ten or the SEC or the Big 12 or the Pac-12, these top schools are going to be financially competing for athletes. And rightfully so, the athletes are going to be looking at that financial windfall as part of their decision process. And so those schools in the Pac-12 that you mentioned are going to have to decide, do they want to compete at that level off the field financially? Do they want to take a higher level approach and focus on, student athletes that aren't worried about making money, that want an education, that want to compete? And I don't know where it's going to go. I believe that we probably are in the Wild West phase of name, image, and likeness, meaning almost no controls, very little legislation. And I believe that we will slowly pull that back and probably come back to a little bit more sensibility. But you never know. The genie could be out of the bottle, and we may never come back any further than where we are right now. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to promote my vision. Of course, the playersnil.com is there for anyone that wants to go look at what we're talking about. Reach out to me. I'd love to talk to people in this space. I'm still learning about it. I want to get as smart and as educated as I can about it. And then I'd like to transfer that to my clients and to my network so that I can help people and hopefully make a difference in their life, right? All we want to do is add value. When we do that, those are solid relationships. So thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Have a great day.
Take care. Don't hang up.